Welcome to the Next Level Call. Thank you for jumping on. Really appreciate you tuning in, watching, listening to the call. And again, I've been saying this for the last few months to a lot of people who have joined us. You know, that they've joined the company, and I was saying, Mike, we've been here doing some training, and y'all were in here, and what's great, Mike, is that I've always wanted to be part of a company where, regardless of what your background was, where you came from, what your life experiences were, that the system was universal enough where anybody could be successful. I think that, because at that point in time, the success is really going to be unlimited. It's really hard to compete with us if we can say, hey, here's a blueprint. It doesn't matter what your education level was or is, what your sales experience is or isn't, where you grew up, or what this person did in your life or didn't do. At the end of the day, if we could find enough men and women that wanted to serve families, then we would make and continue to make a massive impact on families. And I always kind of kid around my son. I say, you do understand that, if you say something about how you want to be great at something, that most of the kids around you are going to think that's dumb. I'm old, so old people call it corny. You guys don't know what corny means, I said to him. They'll call it stupid, like you're an offie or something, because you want to do something great, and all of a sudden there's something wrong with you wanting to do something great. And I said, I'm trying to be as corny as I can be, because every time I talk about wanting to do something great, I do think there's a group of people that go like, well, whatever. And it's like, okay, I'm just trying to do the best that we can. So I'm really excited about the training you guys are going to offer up today. It is a different group. We have different experiences, as far as just how long you've been with us, the success you've had. Mike, we've talked a lot about, I've had a lot of people, because Paul told me about how many appointments you went in a row. We keep talking about that, right? But he had 31 appointments in a row that he closed, that he sat with. But the first thing he said was, hey, a lot of people didn't show up. It wasn't 31, like I booked 31 appointments and the last 31 I booked. No, it may have taken me 50 that I booked to get my 31 to sit with, right? So he's like, I need to fix my no-shows. I'm like, he's closed 31 in a row, and he's like, I need to fix something. See, that's the thing with people. I think when you can this always makes Mike Killamet upset, because he went to Auburn and played baseball, and the SEC is the best football in the country, which nobody disputes, except Alabama should be in their own division. It makes him upset. He gets really angry. But Auburn can play Alabama 100 times, and Alabama beat them 100 times. That's the way those crazy fools think. Like when you listen to, I remember they were asking Nick Saban after they lost the national championship to, was it Clemson? They won it one year, I think. And they said, what do you do? And he's like, I'm in office watching film tomorrow morning early. Then they win the next year. What do you do? I'm in the office tomorrow morning watching film. This is my job, man. My job's to win. We expect to win, and I think that it's, so anyway, we expect to have everybody that wants to win. And we've been talking a lot last couple of days. I'm going to get to some question and answers. I'm going to start with you, Ethan. But one of the things we really thought a lot about was making sure that, 2019 for us is all in, right? We're kind of like, it's all in. We're in. And to what that means from a corporate perspective, just so you know, is this is a new office because we needed a new office, okay? We're hiring more recruiting staff, which we haven't done in 5 years. We'll be in business 5 years, on the 12th of December. We are putting more money into this waiver hat because we're all in, just like y'all are. We're trying to build something. We know we can't go to $250 million paid in a year and not increase our infrastructure. The new CRM that is going to be launched by the first of the year. Like what we have now is working. It's just not working the potential we want it to work to. It's been fine, but fine for a couple thousand agents is not going to be fine for 20,000 agents. We have a new Facebook lead company we've also launched to work with one that we've started working with. We didn't launch them. We launched our relationship with them. Like, hey, you guys look like you can do it well. Let's go ahead and work with you guys. We have some new carrier stuff we're bringing out. So there's a lot of neat stuff that we're looking to do because we're not asking anybody to do anything we're not willing to do. And I think that's always been a leadership deal for me. As long as you're asking me to do something that you've already done or you would do, I'm listening. That means if Ethan's talking about his sales, if Ethan's out there selling, I'm listening. If Ethan has sold a bunch and now is managing a team, but he knows what he's talking about. I think everybody who owns an IMO, FMO, NMO should at least have a couple years in the field. I think it should be a requirement. I think the carrier should go, you know what, Brendan, you want to run one, but you've never sold. And you don't know what the agents are going through. Because until you've been behind the wheel of the car at 4 a.m., 11 p.m., till you've sat in somebody's house, this is not easy. Is it simplistic? Yes, it is. There's nothing about it where you go, I wish I was smarter to understand that they fill out a card and they want life insurance. There's none of this is like, man, I didn't go to Harvard. I mean, it's a very simplistic deal we do. Very rewarding, but it is not easy. If it was easy, every single person in the world would go, let me get an insurance license and make $500,000 a year. And I think one of the things we're going to talk about today is why do you push through, and then when you push through, what's the other side look like? So, Ethan, I'm going to start with you. You've been with us for how long?
Just about 3 years now.
Just about 3 years, okay. Sales experience prior to this?
No.
None at all?
None at all.
Okay. What attracted you to life insurance?
I just hated what I was doing. I was working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, so I didn't like it.
Got it.
I wasn't about to do that my entire life, so as soon as I kind of heard about the opportunity to do something for myself, the amount of money I was seeing that people could make, I decided to give it a shot.
Okay. Fair enough to say you were how old when you got your license?
24.
Okay. So is it fair enough to say that you didn't have the life experiences that probably Brendan and I had with knowing folks that maybe died or got sick without life insurance? You don't have your own kids. Yeah, no. So for you it was freedom and money, which is nothing wrong with that. Because what's wrong with that? Like you don't want to work X amount of hours a week for somebody who's not treating you really well, and you want to make some more money. When you first started, were you full-time less or part-time?
I went full-time right off the rip. I quit my job and started.
Got it. And you didn't love your job and it didn't pay you a ton anyway.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so always people are like, well, I quit my job. I'm like, I saw what you were making, but I mean, I'm not mad. Yeah. But you really didn't quit a job. Like, it wasn't much of a job. You can always get that job back. You know what I mean? Like I have friends of mine, if they quit, doing what they're doing, it's like, dude, you can go find that job anywhere you want. I mean, you're making like minimum wage, and there's not, hey, you're working a job, but I'm saying there's no writ. You walked out of your job. What was the hardest part? Like first week, first month, first day, what was the hardest part when you got the training, you got a license? What was the hardest part for you once you got out in the field?
Once I got out in the field, the hardest part once I was in the field was probably just like, I really didn't know how to communicate with people when it came to like, here's the thing, I cared more about putting money in my pocket than helping them.
Correct.
That's all it really was. Because I thought that's what I was doing. I was like, I can make a lot of money doing this. And I was showing them numbers that looked good to me, or products that looked good to me. And I also didn't really know what I was doing as far as, but I think that's part of it. I learned, I went 0 for 10 my first 10-6, and I still paid $15K in that first month.
Yep.
So in 3 weeks, in my first 3 weeks technically running, I did that. But I learned everything in those first 10 appointments. So I think it started with that. But the thing that I definitely sucked at the most was I was in it for my pocket, because I took my time getting licensed after I quit my job, and I was broke, I needed money, rather than looking out for the people I was talking to.
And I think that one of the things that when I hire people, Brendan, I am crazy clear with them about, hey, listen, this is a phenomenal way to make money. And it is. It's I don't ever apologize for us making money doing this. That would be ridiculous. But if you're not in it and you don't have passion behind serving people. Like I had this 22-year-old kid one day. He's a kid, I'm 46. And I'm talking to him, Brendan, and I said, how come you don't have life insurance? 22. And he goes, I don't need it. I go, okay, explain that to me. So he goes, I'm 22 years old. I know how old you are, but sell me on why you don't need it. So he goes on about how many kids, how many dependents, blah, blah. And I listen to him. And then I stop and go, okay, now let me sell you on why you need it. Okay? You're 22 years old. Can anything happen to you tomorrow? Of course it could, but you're 22, so you think it can't. But of course it could. Number 2, the policy gives you all of your money back, and you have no money put away right now at 22 years of age. Number 3, your parents would be a disaster if something happened to you. The money's not going to make you come back, but it's absolutely going to help with some of the stuff. If your mom can't work and they're a 2-income family, it would help your mom. And if you think about it from a selfless standpoint instead of a selfish standpoint, then you would understand you need life insurance. And I went on and on because I could do it all day long because he doesn't need life insurance. And I said, but if you don't believe you need life insurance, you have to do me a favor. Don't sell life insurance. And it's not because every client's 22. It's just if you don't believe in it, you're not going to be able to sell it. There's no way in the world, Mikey, that somebody goes, I really don't believe in it, but I want to sell it. You want to go sell a car, it's a material. Dude, there's nothing emotional about it. You can sell a car you don't think is that great. Not that big of a deal. You can sell a shirt that's not that great. You can sell a pair of sneakers. It's not that big of a deal. But life insurance isn't something tangible. They get to go ahead and put on their shoes, put on their feet rather, drive around, wear. It's something they put in a drawer somewhere. So unless you can grab the emotionality out and make sure they're not being selfish and talk about that. Kid goes afterwards, you know what, you're right. My mom would be a wreck. I love my mom. I never want to hurt my mom. I'll buy a policy right now. I'm like, why don't you sell yourself one? Because you have a license, you know. But we have to challenge, Mikey. So for me, when I'm hiring people, yes, it's a great way to make money, but you're never going to be good at it if you're transactional. Now, here's the funny thing. You sold 15 grand a month right off the bat. How come you sold so much?
I didn't know what I was doing.
You needed the money.
Need the money, yeah.
So a lot of people, when they transition from full-time to when they have a job and they quit it, they're more motivated than they've been in a while. Number one, they left their job and they want to prove to themselves and anybody else that they should that they can make money. Number two, they have to make money. So you went out and worked really hard. What happens to some people is they work really hard for 2, 3, and they're like, wow, I'm making money. I don't need to work so many hours, right, Ethan?
Yeah.
And now I'm going to kind of pick and choose when I work based on when the money's coming in. And that's a very, very common mistake that people make because they almost are still in that employee mindset when they start. So they're still kind of, I got to go to work. They just left their job last week.
Yeah.
But you've been an independent contractor for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, and now something comes up and your friends want to go hang out. Hey, I'm independent. I have no job. And this is going on over here, right, Mikey? And then all of a sudden you go do it, and then 2 weeks later, you might have no money.
Yeah.
This, I tell people all the time, it's a very unforgiving business. I mean, we're in a business of advanced money where 100% of the business is never going to stay on the books. That would be, I mean, there's no way. You're going to have some business fall off. And if you work every week, it's never going to matter. My answer to, Mike Sides will tell you, my answer all the time, 2008, 9, 10 was, did you run 30 appointments a week? You know what happened? A couple people canceled. Did you run 30 appointments a week? You know what happened? A couple people no-showed me. Did you run 30 appointments? Every question he asked me was, did you run 30 appointments? Did you run 30 appointments a week? Well, I said, Mike, if you run 30 appointments a week, then let's discuss any issue you have. I just think your issues, bud, running 30 appointments a week are going to go from 2,900 to 1 or 2 or 0. So you keep trying to ask me how to do this stuff differently, or you want to talk to me about it, and all I'm telling you is you got to run 30 appointments a week. That's all my deal always was. I could write my way out of anything from a logistical standpoint. If somebody canceled, if this one wasn't home, it didn't matter, Mikey, and I was never desperate. And you didn't have any fear of what you were doing because you didn't know what you were doing. Exactly. It's a blessing, Lisa, when you start because you don't know what you're doing. It's like, hey, any of y'all ski? Not a good time for you and I to learn how to ski. We're 46. I'm not saying we're terrified and we're big babies, but we're 46 years old. Put a pair of skis on a 5-year-old, he's like, or she's like, woo! Because they don't think. Right. They don't think they can fall and break a bone. Hell, I can spin the wrong way at 46, drop and break a bone. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a different deal. But at 5, it's like, woo! So when you start with us and you don't have that trepidation, it's awesome. You had never done sales. You didn't have any preconceived notions of what it would be like. The one thing I do think you understood, remembering back, to when you started, you had a very crystal clear understanding that people wanted your help. Yes, you wanted to make money, but you weren't confused that they asked you to be there.
Exactly.
And I think that made a big difference. What in 2019, just so I can hear for you, Ethan, and plus it makes your goals public, and we can always watch this because it's going to be archived forever. So there's no pressure at all. And not that we're ever going to play it at the end of 2019. Go, look what Ethan said, look what he didn't do. We're never going to do that, probably. We might, but I'm just saying we might not. What is your personal issue paid goal for 2019?
My personal issue paid goal will be $250,000.
Okay. Now, could you do $300,000, you think? Probably. So if I told you that if you do $300,000, now Paul's not agreed to this yet, but I'm convinced him to do it because it's live. He can't undo it. So if you do $300,000 issue paid, all right, and Paul gave you $5,000, and I give you $5,000, would you do $300,000 instead of $250,000?
Yeah, I'll do $300,000.
It's funny how that works, Mike. You'd be like, I'll pay. Now, Paul can't not agree. He's not even on here. So Paul agrees because he's not here.
Yeah.
And Stensha, he's not here to make a vote. So we just cast on his behalf.
Yeah.
Brendan, do you think Paul agrees?
Paul definitely.
Paul definitely agrees, he says.
All in.
All in. There you go. That's right. It's hard to do it. So, but Ethan, I really want you to because I want you to, when John Wetmore was trying to build, and he built quite a business, and he's going back and forth with what I do. I was like, could you imagine if he did 1 year of Hall of Fame? He did it. It's not like it was like, but he just like, I'm just going to go out next year and issue 400 grand. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm not that I hate selling, I like selling, but I'm going to issue 400 grand. Then I'm going to go ahead and build a big business. But I'm going to issue 400 grand all year long. I'm going to talk about hitting Hall of Fame. I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be showing it. I'm going to be there because it'll blow your mind how simple it'll be for you to do $25,000 a month. I mean, it blow your mind. You're like, oh wow, 20, 240, but 25 is 300 grand. Wow, I can do 25 grand a month. And before you know it, the money that you have to build a sport. When did last question, when did you make that transition from, hey, it's transactional, look, I can make money, to, I really actually genuinely care about these people?
Honestly,
Yeah.
Honestly, it probably didn't happen until my first client died.
Really?
Until I actually.
How long did that take after you started?
It was. And here's the thing. It was like one of the final expense, like graded policies. It probably took. It was probably about 8 months in. I mean,
Yeah.
it took a little while, but honestly, it was about money up until about
Yeah.
that point. And I've never received a phone call from anybody, family or anything like, hey, somebody's dying or somebody died.
Right.
So I got that call, and then I went out there to go help her. I asked her, do you want me to help you, or do you want me to send you stuff in the mail? And she preferred I go out there, and it was crazy. It was one of the most emotional things I've ever even been with in my life, and it wasn't directly correlated with me other than the fact I was an insurance agent. So it did make a big difference for me going forward after that, that's for sure.
I think that's the heart, Mike, the thing is, it's like, mortality is a funny thing, and we have a lot of people that fall in the whole, like, they're somehow immortal. It's like, they have immortality, they get that, it's like, no, dude, we're all going to die. Like, what we sell is always going to be used. None of us are going to make it out of here alive. So how do we protect that? How do we provide? So, and I think those are stories you got to share. And obviously you get more as you move along, and people are going to pass away. But I appreciate you sharing. I'm sure you can get 300 grand, and I'm sure Paul's pretty excited about it. So, yeah, no doubt about it. So, Brendan, when did you join us, bud?
Been with you guys for 8 or 9 months.
8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Had sold previously.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the industry, a little familiar with the industry. You had never done simplified issue products at all?
No, so, my history, I took a break mid-career back in
Okay.
05 and did it for about a year.
Got
Had
it.
a very small agency,
Yeah.
horrible comp.
Got it.
Managed to do okay, but, it's just, you take a look at what you're at, you go out there and you write some business, and you're still not making enough money. So I ended up going back to my chosen profession, and,
Got it.
as it turned out, I am here now, by choice.
Here's what's crazy. You think about back that many years ago, had you found a situation that paid you good comp, treated you right, didn't have whatever the other issues were, and now you'd have X amount of years in it. It's kind of like, and it's unfortunate our business is so awesome, but I always tell a lot of my alleged peers, I guess, it's supposed to be awesome for the agents. Because we had a carrier in here, Mike will tell you the other day, and one of the things he said is, I really like about this setup, Shawn, is, the agents are out there doing the majority of the work. They should be rewarded that way. He's like, I really like what you guys are doing, what you stand for. It really sets them up to go ahead and win, because you can become a personal producer and decide, I'm not going to hire anybody. You can make quite a bit of money. I mean, go out there and start knocking down 300 grand. The bigger problem is going to be like, hey, Ethan, we're building it, right? Oh yeah, we're building it. Okay, because 300 grand a year, you start getting paid on that, and get your back end money, get your renewals, gets be a little bit crazy. You're selling about 20 grand a month?
Yeah.
Okay. What's been the key? When was the first month you sell 20 grand? How long did it take you to get to 20K as you paid a month?
I would say it took me, 3 or 4 months to get in there.
Were you full time from day one?
Day one.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit, please, Brendan, about what changed. What transpired over those 90 days to get you into that $20,000 a month?
I think it was the proof of concept, right? And so, you hear about it. I went to convention, you see these people with enormous success, and obviously you want to get there. When I started out, I bought some old leads off of Ethan and saw that proof of concept, and so, transitioned as quickly as I could to realizing, hey, look, this is about lead flow.
Yeah.
Without that, I have no business. That's the lifeblood of the business. So I quickly transitioned into that, and from there it was all the training. I mean, the training is unbelievable here, and that's when I try to bring agents on, it's like, look, don't listen to me, listen to this. Okay, watch these people. These people have proven success. But that was my main focus, and it was going back to all those training videos to kind of sharpen the knife, to get in the field, to substantiate that lead flow, to justify it, because you want to get some return on that premium, on that investment. But that's really where it started taking off, was when I had enough leads coming in with regularity, and just being very intentional about what am I doing here. This is the business, realizing I am the CEO, I am the employee.
Correct.
And hey, that's not easy to do right away. It's a process, but the quicker you realize that that's the process and that's what needs to take place, the better off you're going to be.
Well, I like that's strong. I mean, you are the CEO, you are the employee, and I think the trainings. I mean, that's the thing. Why I try to tell people it's hard. And again, you and I are the same age, right? So I can speak, and it's interchangeable. But it's like, it's okay to need help. It's okay to not have all the answers. I think one of the things that I've always liked about people that trained me the most is if they were transparent and open about the things they didn't know. I'm the same as you. Who would I go listen to? Listen to these trainings. I listen to him, her, they're great. And we have some people that sell a lot that are awesome at training. We have some people that sell a lot that don't. I mean, it's okay. So I'm up front. Like, his training will help you. We're really trying to, the library is so deep with the training that we have, but you can't make anybody. And the other thing is, it's like a book, right? If back in, for us it was a long time ago, it was a minute ago, but you're in school and you're reading a book. You're not reading it. You're reading the words, because you're supposed to read it, right, Ethan? Like, you have to read 200 pages. So you've got to read it. So you're reading it. You're not really reading it. Like, if somebody really wants to have an in-depth conversation about it, you really can't. Because you're like, I read it. And now you're like offended, right? That's how my kids, I read it. I'm like, dude, you didn't read it. You don't know anything about it. You read it focused on basketball and baseball. You didn't read the book. And our business is the same concept. You have to get all this other stuff out of your mind, because if you're watching a train and listen to it, you could be on the call right now today. You could be watching or listening. If you're doing 95 other things, and by the way, you have life, do what you want to do, but it's going to be hard to get some of those pieces of information. And anytime I've talked to people about their success, I've said what you said, Brendan. Because I've not hired one person yet, or that I'm aware of in this company, the entire company. This one I haven't done 250 grand in a year. It goes, I just got it, leads, and I killed it, and I didn't need no help. Because it's a different industry. I don't care what you've done. You're sharp. You've had success. I've had success. I'm educated, but I didn't know how to do this. When we launched the company, Meaike, I found as many people as I could that knew how to run a company, whether it was in this business or not, and I interviewed the living heck out of them, because I didn't know what to do. I went to big insurance carriers, found people I really trusted and respected. I did not go to people that ran in a company the way I didn't want to run a company. That would have been weird. I went to other industries. I had friends. I had people refer me to people. I paid for some trainings. I wanted to know, how do I deal with boom, 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 boom. And if this happens, what do you do? And I think one of the things that we did, though, just like when you're hiring people, is we let people know what we didn't know. If you want to go ahead and do 400 grand in a year, you go, listen to all these trainings. These guys and girls have done it. Mike Kilman he's like, I don't know how to do 400 grand a year. I've not done 400 grand a year. I know how to build a business. Right. I have a lot of people that have done it, but personally, ask him or her, they'll tell you. Now that you'll have, a pretty good year under your belt, Brendan, and I'm just curious, what is your goal in 2019?
A lot bigger than it was last year.
Okay.
So, it's got to be minimum 30,000 a month.
Okay.
I think, getting into this, it was baby steps, short-term goals. Hit 10 a month. Okay, great. Hit 20 a month. Okay, great. But, I've got 5 members in my family. I got 3 kids. It's 2018. Yeah. So, realistically, that 20K number, it sounds great, but it's got to be bigger.
Yeah.
It's got to be 30 or 40.
That's the other thing, too, I think, Ethan. We started this. I remember us talking, because in our industry, unfortunately, it's a cesspool of mediocrity out there. As long as the companies are making money, the agents, whatever the agents make, they don't. So that's why the average is so low, because nobody really cares about the agent. They don't. Like, why would you ever be at a company where they're giving you an award for doing $8 grand a month? You can't pay your bills and you're getting an award. And it's a paper award. It costs 3 cents at Staples. Hey, here's a certificate, Mikey. Congratulations. You're like, oh, yay, Mikey. But you don't have any money.
Right.
You know, it's always my thing. Don't give me an award if I didn't get any money. I'll throw the award away. You wasted 13 cents. I don't need that. But I think that when you realize how simple it is to go to 30, no, it's more work. At the end of the day, Ethan, the difference between 15, 20, 25, 30 is hours. It's hours in the field. That's all it is, man. Yes, you need the right lead flow. I agree with that. But I think what you're going to find more than not is the work hours. If we could take every producer we have and say, okay, here are all the 40K producers, and we had like some kind of GPS to track how many hours they did, it would be, here's a report. 30, it'd be plain as day. Yes, every once in a while you have somebody that's super special that maybe does a few less hours and has volume. But for them, they're very much an outlier statistically. The majority of us, 98% of us, we hit this many hours, we're going to do this. You have to be willing to put the money back in and have leads. Like you said, proof of concept, you need to get some older leads. You got them, you start calling some people up, you went, wow, they are going to buy life insurance from me. Wow, the company does pay the comp they're going to pay. Well, okay, that's all. Okay, now it's proof of concept. Now I can put my time in. And I think that we can't sell ourselves short, Mike, because we really have talked a lot about, and I mean, I love bronze and silver and gold producer, platinum and diamond. I mean, it's awesome. It's just, if everybody knew that everybody that's watching this and everybody's listening, Brandon, let me ask you, you'll shoot me straight. Do you believe that everybody that's listening to this, regardless of who it is, if they have a license and they work 40 hours a week and get leads, do you think they all could do 30K a month?
Yes.
Me too. Because it just doesn't require any innate talent that you can go, well, I don't have that. Okay, yours was, I didn't know how serious it was, but you like people, you're not going to hurt them. And if you had done 40 hours a week, every week, you'd have been doing 25, 30 grand. You know what I mean? So it's just like, we all come at it from a different perspective. You understand you got to support your families. And my people like, what my deal was, I never wanted my kids to ever want for nothing. That's it. I mean, there's all for nothing. Meaning that wherever they want to go to school, whatever they need, nothing. I wouldn't want if somebody, needed something medically, my mom, I don't want to ever go, man, we could probably get you better treatment. That's a lot of money. I don't ever want to do that. I mean, I just don't want anybody that I'm, I don't want them to be wanting for nothing. So, but I really think if you, and Brendan's so right, because there's so many awesome trainings. I mean, the annual convention. You went to the convention, right?
That's what sold me on the whole concept.
So what sold you?
Okay, so I was doing some research prior to looking at different IMOs. I had discussions with Ethan, and it's like, look, I'm 90+% sure I'm going with you guys. But, talk is talk,
Yep.
service, right? So I wanted to see it for real, that proof of concept. I wanted to see the people, talk to the people that had been talked about in person.
Yep.
So I went down there, and I'm telling you, man, I mean, Ethan told me, it's like, when this thing starts rolling, it's no joke. And it's like, to me, going down there, man, if I was a pro football player, if this was Super Bowl week, that's what that was to me, coming in from the outside. So I was blown away by it, met all you people, talked to, some heavy hitters and realized, look, this isn't just lip service. This is real.
Yeah.
These people are putting these numbers up and, it's doable.
Correct.
Now it's just, all right, now let's take that to a game plan and let's
Correct.
implement the steps.
Love it.
And I think that, one more thing I like to add is like, I progressed, in this. It's like, when I ask myself, when I'm talking with Ethan, or I'm talking with Paul, it's like when you start talking about if this, but that, when you can get rid of that stuff, then you realize it's real. If you're if this, but that, oh, I could have done all that stuff, you got to be honest with yourself and realize that's just noise, man. That's an excuse to why you didn't.
No doubt.
All right, so let's get rid of the ifs, that's, the buts, this, and then it gets real. And I think that's my goal for the next year, because too many
Love
times
it.
I've had that conversation.
I appreciate it. You get me excited. I might ready to go play football or something.
Let's
I
go.
mean, I'm old. I'll run out there, but I'll be excited. Well, thank you, Brendan. I appreciate you, buddy. Mikey,
So what's up?
what's up, he says. Serving people. So talk to us, Mike. You've been with us for how long?
It's gonna be a year next month.
Got it. So one full year. Come up on your anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you issue paying a month on average?
On average,
Yeah.
I mean, almost 20.
Almost 20.
Yeah.
Give or take. Depends. Could be 16.
be
Could
working
be,
on it.
yeah. Could be, well, and in fairness, we talked about this during our training. I mean, you're in a position where you are making what you need to make. Maybe it's not, you're not paying bills. You're making what you need to make. And talk to us, Mikey, a little bit, please. Walk us through this, having that many, because I don't care how many no-shows you had. 31 in a row is impressive. I don't care how many people didn't show up. Not that I don't care, but it's like you still sat with 31 different families and got them some form of life insurance. What is happening for you right now, do you believe, that is just kind of like if you have a qualified client and you show up, there's a very good chance you're going to help them? What is happening, do you believe, for you?
Repetition. You know, I got to the point where I've sat with I've done the, I didn't do the spiel about I need to know product, I need to know this before I go and do it. I just did it. And I've done it enough times and, listened into the phone calls, called my upline in the home. I've ignored, the hell out of my upline. I made those phone calls. And I've done enough times that, I sat with enough people, I'm starting to learn what type of people I sit in front of. And basically, my process, I can do it in my head. I could do it for you right now, my in-home, and then right from the bat, there's a couple of questions I asked right in the beginning.
What's been the best question you asked in the beginning? Do you think it's the most
Why am I
effective?
here? Okay. Before I even go through my intent statement, before that awkward stage, you walk into the kitchen table, I say, why am I here, Bob? And then I ask, what are you looking for? So I get those two right on the table right away. So, at the end, they really can't say anything. I don't really get objections anymore.
Well, here's the psychology behind it, too. I mean, like, you did fill this out. You did ask me to come here. Yeah, why am I here? Like, almost like, hey, by the way, I'm doing this for you. Why am I here?
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to, have a seat. And yours, no, why am I here? My deal was, I know why you filled it out. The majority of people filled it out for this reason. What was your deal? Or I've heard it a million different ways. If it works, it works. One guy told me, and I like this one, he's like, the way your situation is, I'm assuming it's like everybody else's. It's a dam, and there's a leak in the dam somewhere. Doesn't mean everything's ending. It just means there's a hole that needs to be plugged. Where's the leak? Well, if I die, my wife can't stay in the house. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Would you agree with that? I would. But calling them on it, because if you don't ever get to that point, you have no appointment. People would say to me, the appointment, I said, whoa, you never had an appointment. Because you never even explained to them what you do and asked them you never challenged them. You showed up, but it wasn't an appointment. Does that make sense? So let's not get carried away that it was an appointment. If you never get to that point of, if it's all just the superficial, good to talk to you, we make some connection, we talk about y'all in Boston, we talk about the Red Sox, and we do this, and they're awesome, and 28 minutes into it, you ain't never gone any further, that wasn't an appointment. That was people hanging out and having a conversation. And you did them a disservice because they needed your help, right? Why am I here? What has been one of the best closing questions? You go ahead and do your deal and you get to the end. What has been one of the best things maybe it's a statement, maybe it's not a question that you said or you've asked to help you go ahead and finalize this deal?
I believe my intent statement right from the beginning.
Okay.
I'll just go over it real quick. What I'll say is, Bob, what I'm going to do with you today is just go through a series of questions with you, both health and financially. Probably spend about 3 minutes on your finances, 2 minutes on your health, just so I can have an idea of where you're at. I'm an independent broker, and all that means, and while I'm saying this, I'm passing over the carrier sheet so they can see them. And I'm saying all that means is that I work with multiple different carriers. I don't work for them, I work for my clients, but I'm allowed to offer different products. And basically, depending on the answers to the questions that you give me today, it's going to give me an idea of basically which carrier to look at for you. Each one of them specializes in some different, depending on age and health. So I need 100% honesty from you today so I can do my job as well. And basically at the end, I want to do two things. Not only find something you qualify for, but most importantly, that's affordable. All right? What we'll do at the end, we're going to fill an application. They're going to need 3 things. Social Security, a beneficiary to receive the money, and a bank account attached to this, okay? And then I'll begin my process. So I get those out of the way so, I don't give out my bank account information. I don't give out my Social Security. Why are you asking me that question? I'm getting that right out front so you're prepared when I give you those 3 or 5 options. I'm pulling out an application, we're filling it out right there. And we're gonna send it in and get you approved and protect your family.
Here's that structure, right? I'm gonna spend 3 minutes in this one, 2 minutes in that one, or vice versa. I mean, that's just like, hey, by the way, I just want to let you know I'm in charge. Appreciate you filling it out, but I'm completely in charge here. I don't care what you all do for a living or where we went to school. I respect it, but right here, I'm the only one with a life insurance license. I'm a professional. I'm in charge. I got it. Here's how we're gonna do it. Here's the way it's gonna work. Got it. And then people, because by nature, the 1.5% of the people that fill this thing out, whether it's direct mail, Facebook, whatever it is, they are understanding that you're coming to help them. Act different than that, they'll be nervous. Make sense?
100%.
But as long as you provide structure, which is what they're looking for, now all of a sudden it's like, how do I, when you're saying that, A, you're saying it fast enough where I can't say anything. Slow enough where I can understand it, but you're saying it fast enough where if you're speaking like kind of really unintentionally, then I can jump in and go, wait a minute, you're, He's like, boom, and boom, and boom, and then we didn't, boom, and I got these 3 things here, boom. And, I mean, I'm like, got it. Because A, you seem to know what you're talking about. B, you seem to be passionate about it. And C, you seem to understand that you're the one in charge, not me. The reason an appointment goes bad is the person that's supposed to be in charge. Hey, you know what makes bad parents? People that don't know they're in charge of their children. You know, I used to work at social work for many years. They'd be like, they're bad kids. I'm like, they just have you as parents. Don't make bad kids. They weren't a bad kid, made a bad kid. He's 7. He's got you as a parent, unfortunately. No structure, no discipline, no direction. You want to be his best friend. What do you want him to do? He's waiting for structure that you're supposed to provide, dad, mom. Clients are waiting for structure that you're supposed to provide. And if you don't provide that, then they act out in their own way. They don't throw stuff around the house like 7-year-olds would. But their deal is, we don't make decisions tonight, we just want the information, blah, blah, blah. They're just, they have all kinds of stuff to say because you didn't provide structure. So that's great, dude. We're gonna need to get you to do a full in-home. And we'll do the next role play stuff. We get to have that. That was good. I was about ready to give you my driver's license and get this thing going. So.
Get a body check too.
That's good. I'm like, okay, get it, get over your knees, man. You know. So I appreciate you sharing, buddy. That was great. You got it, man. Lisa.
Yes, sir.
You've been with us how long?
Next month will be 2 years.
2 years. Okay. How much you selling on average per month?
15 to 20.
15 to 20. Okay. Mike, what's your goal in 2019? I'm sorry. Issue.
I'm gonna Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, 400 grand.
Hall of Fame, yeah. And to hit, obviously, VP with my agency.
It moved up. 300, 350, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, gotta do it. I should have done it this
Paul
year.
said he's gonna give you 5 grand Hall of Fame.
I heard 10.
Okay, 10. I'll do 5 of it. It's 10. Tell Paul to
I'll
put a
take
check.
5.
Tell Paul to put a check. 2 years next. Okay. And did you start when you started with us? Were you selling right away? What were you selling on average the first 2, 3, 4 months per month?
5, around 5 to 8.
Were you full time?
No, part time.
Part time. Got it. Are you full time now?
Yes.
Got it. Full time or still kind of full part time kind of?
Full time.
Full time. Okay. And for you, what's been, if you were going to provide, any tips today for anybody who's been with us for a day, a week, or 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, what would be a few things that you'd want, whether it's in-home, phone, leads, schedule, what are some things that you've done that you've seen others do or that you've done that's helped you improve your situation?
The main thing that I started doing is when I'm in the home and I may be struggling, I'll call someone to help me with the clothes.
Got it.
Because sometimes I'm a little timid and I'm not as strong as I should be, so I'll call someone to help me with the clothes.
Got it. Okay. Who do you usually call?
I'll call Paul or Ethan.
Okay.
Or whoever I can get.
Okay. So you understand, first of all, there's nothing wrong with third-party validation, too. One thing is Mike Sizer, he's like worked, he's an employee, so like he does work with the company now. But back in the day, I hired him. He was been around, but I had no problem calling him or other people. I called Dom. I call people. Hey, I call my boss. He wasn't my boss, but heck, somehow this is weird between us. So let me call somebody else I work with. Check in with him. Now, what you have to do, Ethan and Paul, is like Dominique. When I started with him, I'm like, call me. That fool would call me from every appointment. When I say every appointment, every appointment. That was like that was like a part-time job for me. Hello? Hey, I'm sitting here with, finally one day I'm like, hey, but I love you. And I love you, man. But it's been like a while. And you're still calling me. The things I'm saying, I need you to start saying them. Okay? And what you have to do, in my opinion, is because you don't love that part of it, they call it confrontation, somehow it's got a negative connotation, where they're here and you're here and trying to get them to move. All you gotta do is apologize for it. Okay. Because you're not comfortable doing it. I need to be honest with you. I'm not really comfortable with this part, but it is my job and I do care. But I need you guys both to understand that I'm not crazy comfortable with it, which really takes away their judgment because you're saying I'm not really comfortable with it.
Right.
So before you get excited and start judging me, which you don't have the right to judge me, the client, because you asked me to be here and I'm here to help you. But before you start looking at me like it's uncomfortable, I'm telling you it's uncomfortable. But I care so much about you and your family, I'm willing to be uncomfortable.
Right.
So I am uncomfortable. I love this part. But guys, here's our problem. You're here, and you know what they're going to say.
Right.
You don't know anything they're going to say. You've heard them say it enough. So you could say something like, I can call my manager because they're confused when somebody fills out a form, I meet with them, and they don't get life insurance. Because they can't understand that it makes no sense to them. They're like, did they really fill the form out, or did you go to the wrong house? The first thing they'll ask me is, did I go to the wrong house? And I'll go, no, I've been to the right house. They filled the form out, they just want life insurance. So guys, I can call them, or we can just have an adult conversation, but I need you to understand this is not my favorite part, but I'm going to do it.
Right.
It's not my favorite part. You know, I was a social worker, I was 21 years of age. Come back after 2 days in the field, my manager Jim was like, how's it going? I'm like, it sucks. Everybody I meet with has kids, because this Department of Children and Families.
Right.
I have no kids. They're 30, 40, 50, 60 years of age, and I'm 21. He's like, okay, when you knock on the door next time, tell them that you're 21, you've been working here for 3 days. But you're the only one in the house that has a social work degree and is certified to be a social worker in the state of Connecticut doing what you're doing. I was like, I can do that. And I started putting out there before they could sit and look. And I looked young at 21. I mean, even like, you know, 46, but like younger, you know. And clients would say all kinds of stupid stuff. You know, did your mom drive you here? You know, just mess with me. And I get angry, right? Like, no, my mom didn't drive me here. And they're like, oh God, this is gonna be great. I'm totally in control, right? You know, yes, she did. Are you old enough to drive, son? Are you in the wrong place? Call your mommy, tell her to pick you back up. Oh, it was bad. But once I started doing that, I took everything away. Lisa, and for you, because for you to teach others to be uncomfortable, you're gonna have to get there. You know what I mean? And at some point when you're managing people, you have to decide, am I helping? Well, I'm helping the individual sale. Yeah. But what's the long term? So I let Dominique trip on a couple of them because he's very smart and very good people to then go ahead and go, I'm just going to do what you were doing anyway because you're doing a million other things and you can't always take every phone call from every client because he's going to run 10 or 12 points a day. So that ends up being a lot. This year, how many days a week are you in the field now?
4.
Okay, 4. And how many appointments a day on average?
I usually average between 6 and 8 appointments.
Got it. Okay. And if you can stay that active, you know, because if you're doing 4 and you're doing 8 a day, I mean, it's pretty decent activity. Gets up to 32. I mean, how many do you sit with if you have?
I usually sit with 4 or 5.
Okay. So now you're sitting. So now your 4 days goes to 16 appointments or 20. So now if you added a day or added a couple more appointments a day, because it becomes your full-time job, it's your full-time job.
Right.
And I'm just so everybody understand. I'm just telling you the best way to leave yourself no chance of not, like, you will be successful. You're not going to fail financially protecting clients if you have 30 people a week. You just can't. It's impossible. I don't care. I mean, you can show up there and not do any of what you did. You can show up there and go, me here, you there, form, life insurance. I mean, you sit with 30 and get 8 of them and go, I know what it is. Get whatever. What do you need? Check. Got it. I mean, Sarah, you can be really bad and do nothing. And then when you start to do what you're doing, can you imagine, Mike, what it would be like if you ran 30 appointments a week? Every week. Sat with 30. And then you figure out what your no-show deal is. Like if I'm booking 8, well, I'm going to sit with 4 or 5. Because I'm probably not assertive enough on the phone. You know, you need to be appropriate and you need to be a little bit difficult with folks. You know, and that's okay too. Not difficult in the I mean, yeah, I was for 5 years. We're like, man, you said all those things, yeah. And I've not had anybody ask me to leave their house or throw me out. I mean, I've not closed. But I've been like, oh my God, I'm offended. Because I let them know from the beginning, just like you do in a different way, that I am here to help. And I think you can do some of that at the beginning. And I think that's great advice for a lot of people. If you're not crazy comfortable or have a little bit of, you know, timidity, you're a little bit timid, guess what? At the beginning, talk about how much you darn care. Because that forgives you for a lot. Talk about the personal stuff you've been through as far as people in your lives, you and your family, that you've lost and what they did and didn't have for life insurance. Share that right off the bat. So guys, excuse me for being passionate about it, but I'm really passionate about what we do. And I think if you share that right off the bat, you kind of earn the right to go ahead and say something that might be like, if you didn't earn the right, like, man, why do you say that? Well, they already know how serious you are about life insurance. They already know how much you care because you've told them. They know what it feels like because you got the kids and you know what they're going through and you can think about it. And they know, if you know, that I have gone through this and I've gone ahead and processed death claims. I hope the check I'm bringing to you is the return of premium, but we don't know. And at the end of the day, I think the single biggest thing we can do is let them know how much we care, how much we're not willing to back down because we care, and the fact that they're going to need this is just a matter of when. And since none of us human beings have the answer as to when, we got to provide and protect. So, guys, I appreciate it. You guys are outstanding. I'm going to turn it over to my buddy Shawn Ruggiero, annuities, IULs. Here you go, Shawn.
Hello everyone, Shawn Ruggiero, Next Level Call. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, unless you've been living under a rock or you have so much money you don't need to worry about it, you've probably seen the markets declining dramatically in the last 30 days or so. If you follow my Safe Money Smart tweet on Twitter or the website safemoneysmart.org, you see that I post a lot of articles from Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, Chase Manhattan, people who are predicting that this is the start of a market correction. So what is a market correction? Let's talk about that. A market correction versus a true bear market. Well, a market correction is usually something that's considered to be about a 10% change in the market, either in a short period of time or in a period of months. Versus a bear market, we're talking about over a 20% decline. Now, the average bear market, if we look at the history of the U.S. stock markets, the average bear market is a 41% decline in about 1.5 years. So that's a pretty fast and furious decline if you have your money in the stock market. Now I want to establish something here. If you are accumulating wealth, and this is really the delineation on what we don't do and what we do. If you're accumulating wealth, a down market is a good thing. So, Joe, you're 31 years old, right? Young, saving up money, putting money away. So if I'm Joe and I'm 31 years old and I'm putting $1,000 a month into the stock market to accumulate wealth. Well, let's say right now the market is costing me $250 per share, whatever that share is. Let's say XYZ mutual fund that I'm investing in. So how many of these shares do I get when I invest $1,000 a month? I get 4 shares, okay? That's easy math. But now the market is declining, the market is going down. So if the market now is only $200 a share because it has dropped for XYZ mutual fund, I'm now getting 5 shares per month with my investment. So you can see how a down market is actually a good thing. So if you're talking with clients and they're saying, hey, I'm worried about the market, I'd say, don't worry. Keep buying in. Keep spending money, investing in your 401k, your Roth IRA, whatever it might be. And a great way to supplement that would be an IUL. But a down market is not a bad thing if you're young like Joe and accumulating wealth. Where is it a bad thing? Statistics show us that in the 5 to 10 years, 5, 6, 10 years before retirement and the 5, 6, 10 years after retirement is where we're most vulnerable. So if we look at this as retirement, this is, age 20, we're starting to work. Age 90, we're looking to pass away. This middle part here, say maybe age 65, it's this portion of retirement, age 55 to age 75, right around this area here, whatever your retirement age is, 6, 8, 10 years before, 6, 8, 10 years after, that's where you're most vulnerable. And so if you have your money invested in the stock market during that time, and you're experiencing this down market right now, and you're in this range, you're highly susceptible to screwing up your retirement. Meaning that a small change in trajectory here could really limit the peak and affect the decline in your spending for retirement, or over here could change your downward trajectory and have you run out of money too soon. So this is the people that we're talking to. We're not talking to the 31-year-olds accumulating wealth. We're talking to the 55, the 60, the 65, 70, 75-year-olds who are preparing for retirement or who are in retirement that need to be careful. So let's look at the numbers. All right, everyone knows the S&P 500. What does this decline look like? Well, let's take real numbers. If we look at the S&P 500 on August 30th, 2018, the S&P 500 was at 2917. If we look at November 23rd, 2018, we now see that the S&P has dropped to, 2631. That is a decline of 286 points in these few short months, or 9.8%. That's a 9.8% loss. Remember what I said, market corrections are usually around 10%. So are we in a market correction, or are we continuing to decline into what would be a bear market off of these all-time highs, off of this rising bull market that started in November of 2009? So here we have a 9-year run, and now we're tapering off 9.8%. The S&P 500, aptly named, tracks by capitalization, by revenue, the top 500 stocks in the United States. Let's expand that. Let's look at something called the Russell 2000. Okay? You want to guess how many stocks this tracks? 2,000, that's right. So on August 31st, it was at 1713. And then on November 20th, these are both 2018, it has dropped to 1469. That is a drop of 244 points, or even a larger decline, 14%. So this is giving you a representation of what the market's actually doing. So if you have clients that are in denial, they need to wake up. The market is declining. And if we have those 55 to 75-year-olds, this isn't funny. This is serious information, serious news. And if someone is in this situation, here's what we experience a lot of times. We have someone who has, let's say, $350,000 of retirement. Let's say they're 65 years old, and they have $350,000 of retirement. If they have suffered, let's say their advisor is doing something right. Okay, advisors can't make your money go up when the market's down. And hopefully they don't make the money go down when the market's going up. But hopefully they mitigate some of this. Hopefully you're not exposed to all large cap stocks and all fluctuations in all tech stocks. Hopefully they have some of your portfolio in some conservative funds. So let's not say you lose 10 or 14%. Let's not be extreme. Let's cut that down and say it's only been 6%. So if you take a 6% nosedive in these last 90 days, you would have lost $21,000. So you had $350,000, you're 65 years old, you lost 6% or $21,000. So now you have $329,000. How many of your clients are in this situation? How many of your family members, friends, neighbors, affiliates are in this situation? The answer is tons of them. But see, here's where we've never had the right thing to say. We've never had the right ammunition. They're going to be told, just sit tight. Try not to sell, sit tight, and the market will come back. And you know what? I think the market will come back eventually. 2020, 21, 22, that market will come back, but from a lower trajectory. Now, if you're already in retirement, this is bad news because you have to spend your money. Whether it's R&Ds or living off your money, you have to spend it. If you're 65 and you've got a couple years to go, they're saying, don't worry, it will come back. Well, why wait? Why hope that it comes back in time? The reality is you need to use an FIA, a fixed index annuity. This is something you need to strongly consider. FIAs are offering anywhere on the low side, if we look at something like the Performance Elite, a 3% transfer bonus, all the way up to a 12% transfer bonus in certain states. I'm going to cut that in the middle and say, let's use the 5% transfer bonus, kind of the middle of the road. So we're down to $329,000. I have a plan. Rather than waiting for the market to go back and crossing your fingers, take action, take control of your retirement. Let's apply that 5% transfer bonus using the Athene FIA product. And now this jumps all the way back to $345,500, rough math. So you have now recovered those losses. And what will happen? You will not be affected by any more downward movement. And best of all, here's what people don't understand, is that when the market does come up, you will capture it. You will capture this with realized gains. You must take advantage now. You can't sit back and wait till the market drops so much that you're so far behind the 8 ball that you get desperate. Okay? So here's why I'm mentioning this. If you go to Insurance Strip, if you go to familyfirstlife.insurancestrip.com, you're going to see a new marketing boost that gives this exact same story in a video that I've prepared, a very quick 1-minute video, talking to your clients with graphics, why now's the time to react and use the FIA to recover from these losses and capture new gains when they do come back. Because the reality is this, we have been spending too much time as clientele preparing for retirement. What does $21,000 mean? Well, think about the person who has saved up $350,000. $350,000 is more they've made in a single year. This is a life's savings, $350,000. How long, Mr. Smith, did it take you to save $21,000? If they think back, they might have been socking away $450 a month, maybe $300 a month. Think about how many years, how many hours of punching the clock, how many days of working at the desk or behind the engineering table or with the train company or wherever it was. How long did it take you to save up $21,000? And what does that mean in retirement? If you add $21,000 of income to their Social Security, a combined Social Security for our hypothetical Mr. and Mrs. Smith, of maybe $40,000, $21,000 is a year or two of retirement income. And how fast did it go away? In a mere 90 days, in a mere 60 days, an entire year is wiped off the retirement. 2 years is wiped off the retirement. See, we're too soft when it comes to these points. What we don't do is stress enough how much this is impacting their retirement income. Because it probably took them 2 or 3 years to save up $21,000 in their 401k or 457 or 403b plan. And it probably represents 2 or 3 years of retirement income that they're going to take out for them and Mrs. Smith. Yet here they are just casually standing by while the market drops. The reality is when we get into that hump, into that area of 55 to 75, we need to really limit this market exposure. So what you're doing is the right thing. We're not projecting this to 31-year-olds saving up for retirement. We're telling them, continue to fund your retirement, use IULs to supplement it, but when you're in that bell curve and you need to hit that glide path, that 55 to 75, this is how we solve it. We come back with the FIA, we get the crediting bonus, the transfer bonus, and now we put ourselves at a high water mark that will never, ever go down. And every gain that we do get when the market does come back in 2020, 21, 22, whatever it might be, every credit that we do get is a realized gain. So remember these things. Say these things to your clients. No more predicting the market, time to prepare for the market. Or how about stop with the paper gains, now it's time for realized gains. Another one I really like is this. Don't allow the market to control your retirement. You take control of your retirement. And the last one is this. It's time to be proactive, not reactive. So remember everyone, go to familyfirstlife.insurancestrip.com. I have a 1-minute video prepared with graphics that you can send out free. Family First Life pays for this service. Send it out free across social media, through all of your email accounts, and broadcast this message. Because there is a large handful of people who you know who are in this exact situation, who are sitting by and letting this money eat away at what they've worked and earned so hard for, and they can do something about it. They just need you to help them do that. Thanks everyone for listening today. Appreciate it. Have a great week.